All right. Let me get to Bobby Woodman. Let's get Bobby Woodman up from virtual, and let's get Shane McKay. Can we get Bobby Woodman number 1 and Shane McKay number 2? Room number 2. Can we get those two pulled up? Gentlemen, if you're in the room, hug it up, gentlemen, and get back to your seats. Let's go. Bobby Woodman. Shh. So, share with me, my man, where are you at this morning?
I'm at a impasse, I guess. I'm ready to take a knee. Growing up in a non-religious household or background, really started coming into the faith the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
This morning I was actually talking to my pastor while I was at the gym.
Awesome.
He showed up there and we were talking, and he's asking me, what do I need to go all in? What's my holdups? And for me, it's always been like I guess like an intellectual thing, just trying to put some knowledge behind it. How is this real? How is it true? He says you just gotta have the faith. You gotta listen and just kind of take it all in. So,
Do you know how I came to Christ?
How's that?
Watching Vikings on Netflix while smoking a cigar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not fucking kidding. I never watch TV shows. I don't give a fuck. I hate them. I read, I create shit, or I sit and think, or play with my kids, or make love to my wife. One of those things at night, or all of them. Not at the same time. But for some reason, I felt like somebody mentioned this Netflix series called Vikings, and I was like, I don't know why. I don't even smoke cigars. I was hanging out with Sean. He smokes cigars all the time. And for what? And then Kevin Ward, he likes cigars. So I was like, I don't know. I don't hardly ever smoke cigars. I like them. I enjoy them. I'll smoke a cigar. It's great. But it's not like my thing. I don't like wake up, oh God, I'm gonna smoke a cigar today. And there I was every other night watching an episode, one of the Viking series, while smoking a cigar on the third deck of my castle, looking out at the ocean at night with the stars. My headphones in. It's really fucking weird. Never done it before. I don't even know which number it is. Somewhere in there, King Lothbrok, like the pagan king of the Vikings, his right-hand guy who they captured was like a Catholic priest. And they called him the priest. And he started having these dialogues with Ragnar about Christ. And then he was the king of all the Vikings, and he was baptized a Christian. And it started a war amidst the Vikings because he was baptized Christian as a pagan king. And I'm sitting watching this, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I'm standing up on the deck of my house. It's nighttime. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Everybody's asleep. Looking out. Stars are out. I'm looking out at the ocean, hear the waves crashing from where I live in Orange County, and I'm just like, this thing just started. So the next morning I wake up, I get a text message from this fucking crazy Persian. Out of nowhere. He says, gives me a date. He says, I'm baptizing you. My initial response was what? What do you think it was? We've said it quite a few times in the last few days, Bobby. What is it?
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, which is what I thought. I thought, go fuck yourself, Coach Sam. Fucking baptize me. So I sent some kind of version to go fuck yourself. I love him too much to tell him directly, go fuck yourself. Like, I didn't really want to say that. I was like, oh, I appreciate it a lot, whatever. Basically, it was go fuck yourself. And then like 20 minutes later, I text him back, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, have this moment. I'm like, fuck, I need to do this. Like this needs to happen. But I was super confused, because I was like, how is this even possible? Like, I don't even like this. I don't like it. I don't like where this is going. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. Of course, you weren't getting me from Pastor. You weren't getting me from anybody else. You got me from one place. You got me through Vikings while smoking a cigar. And a crazy Persian who used to be a Muslim who became a Christian and tattooed Christ on his hand. So I got a pagan king on Vikings and a Muslim converted to Christianity, very close friend and brother. And between King Lothbrok or Ragnar and King Sam, they fucking collided with the universe, and there I was. I called my dad and asked him if he would come to Orange County and baptize me. So Coach Sam put together a group with his group called Syndicate, and it happened. But it was interesting for me because it was that was kind of an initial stage to me. It was a public thing for me. And it was interesting because the minute I did that, this weird thing happened. I had all these people reach out to me that I'd known for a very long time and tell me something. What do you think they told me? They didn't say, go fuck yourself. That didn't happen. What do you think they told me? Guess.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I will try and guess. Take a guess at it. What do you think they were telling
What
me?
are you doing?
Say it again.
So what are you doing?
Someone said that. What the fuck are you doing?
Sure.
That's one thing,
Are you
right?
sure?
I had other things. Let's go ahead and unmute Shane. Shane, you're sitting up on top of the world right now looking fantastic. God, talk about framing. Shit. This is Shane coming at you from above with Jesus, here to talk to you about it. All right, Shane, what else do you think they were telling me?
You're fucking crazy.
You're fucking crazy. I have people telling me this too. You're fucking crazy. What are you doing? Are you kidding right now? I have some other things. Bobby, what else do you think they told me?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? And there was all of these comments, but here was the most surprising. That didn't surprise me that people were saying that. That wasn't surprising at all. Here was the other side that was so surprising. Is a whole bunch of people were like, yeah, dude, we were just waiting. Like we knew it was only a matter of time. And I was like, how the fuck did you know it was only a matter of time? Like, bro, we've been around Warrior forever. You just been saying the voice, but you weren't saying Christ, and we just knew what you were actually saying, but you didn't want to say it, and so we were just waiting for you to say it. How many of you in person that was actually you? Raise your hand. And it was funny because all of you were calling me going, yeah, not surprised, bro. It's about time. Congratulations. Welcome home. And I'm like, come on. Seriously? But here's the crazier part. Outside of that wasn't even crazy to me. The craziest part to me, Colin, was people who were telling me that they were Christians and they loved Christ. And guess what? In the 5 to 7 years I'd known them, guess how many times they talked about Jesus with me? Zero.
Never.
Fucking times. Mm-hmm. It's about like my black friends. And then all of a sudden things started happening a few years ago, and then things got all spicy, and then my black friends all of a sudden started having conversations with me about race. And I'm like, bro, I've known you for like 7 years. Why have we not talked about this before? Like, they started feeling okay to talk about it because I was talking about it, so then they started talking to me about it. I'm like, dude, if I've been so uncomfortable in the way I've created our relationship that you can't talk about this, I'm sorry. That's not what I wanted. Why did you feel like you couldn't talk to me? And all my friends who were followers of Christ was like, why were you not telling me? Why were you not so passionate about this? There were crazy few who did have a stand for this. One of them was here. Forrest, come up here. This is not the thing I told you about earlier. This is a different thing, okay? So don't worry about that piece. That piece is tomorrow. Coach Sam, come up here. Can I get a second microphone for Coach Sam? And can I get 2 chairs for the both of them? Right up here on stage. Because there was something that happened a while back. It wasn't my plan. I have a lot of plans. Half my plans suck. The other half of my plans work out amazing. And somewhere in the middle, they work out so good, they offset the bad plans. And then my life works. It's just the plans that God seems to make that are good, and then there's my plans that aren't so good, and then there's the plans I make that are lined up with what He wants. So we have had some interesting things happen over the years. One of the things that happened at Warrior Week one time is I had a guy show up sent from a church. And the church had funded him to come to Warrior Week. In the middle of Warrior Week, he went, surprise. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, surprise. I'm here to bring you to Jesus. And I was like, hey, I got an idea for yourself. Go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of my van. So we did. We threw him out of the event. Remember that, Coach Sam?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a fucking weird event. So I was like, let me get this straight. You were literally funded by your church to infiltrate the system of Wake Up Warrior to come bring Jesus to me in the middle of this event? I was like, go fuck yourself, but I'm proud of you. Good job. Come up on stage and tell him about how you did that shit.
He broke his toe.
Yeah.
We're proud of him for that.
I know, and he came up and he told everyone about it, and I was like, dude, that's intense to come into this environment and just choose to say that. So there was a moment, though, you came to Warrior Week for us, talking about why you came to Warrior. Go back to why you came to Warrior, because you were somebody that, on the outside, coming to Warrior was like, what are you doing, dude? You're like the beacon of society in Alabama for just about everything. Beautiful wife, amazing kids, great businesses, powerful man, man of Christ, man in the church, like this. You had all that. What was it brought you to work?
Because I was drawn to the message that there was something more. And in my Christian theological circles, wanting something more was sinful. Why should I not be satisfied with what I have? Shouldn't I be content? Was it sin to want more? And so I struggled with that message. And you burst on the scene with your F-bombs and your tattoos, and there was a message beyond the message of my life is about expansion, and I was drawn to that.
Abundance.
And this hook was intense, and it was intense for many of you. How many of you here and in the virtual, if it was you for you, I want you to type in me, but here in the room, how many of you were drawn to this idea that there could be more? Raise your hand. In the chat, type in me if that's you. This is what draws everyone in, is this have-it-all idea. And I will have you consider that you're not being drawn in because I'm a great marketer. I'm a great fucking marketer, no question about it. But I became a great marketer for one reason, because I had to get an idea into the minds of humanity, combating the ideology of propaganda to destroy you. That's why people say, why does marketing matter? Marketing is everything. If you cannot market, you cannot lead. If you cannot convince, convert, and seduce another human being to open their reality to a new possibility, whether your wife, your children, your clients, your teams, or the world around you, you are worth less as a leader. It doesn't mean you're worth nothing. So when you tell me I'm not very good at marketing, I say, go fuck yourself. You better figure it out then. Because your children and the next generation, they live in a cesspool of what? Marketing. 24/7, bombarding their brains at rates that we have never known, subliminally seducing ideas of sexuality and confusion and money and cursing and marriage and divorce and obesity and everything, all propagating into this place. So in this place, we stood and said, go fuck yourself. And I had to be angry and fierce. There was a piece of me that didn't want to be these things. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to be the guy that constantly has to fucking... You know how many times I had to fucking collide with Scott? Holy fuck. Do you know what it took to get to this moment? You don't. 4 fucking years it took to get to this moment. I sat for an entire year with him while he blamed his wife for everything. And we had to create, and God created windows and openings so that he could back out. And I was backing him and pulling these off. But in the end, I couldn't do the work for him. But what was he after? He wanted to have it all. And he wanted the epidemic piece of this, the highest piece. Kevin, he wanted the piece. I'm talking to where you at? Kevin, I'm talking to. He wanted the piece you're searching for. It wasn't his wife. It wasn't the money. It wasn't his body. He wanted a relationship. He just didn't know what he was looking for. This is what you were sharing yesterday. This is what I'm searching for. This is what I'm wanting. This is what I'm hoping for. But if you aren't colliding with kings who are in that place, the chance of it is very small. Can you see this? Yeah, have a seat. Thanks, brother. So you came looking for more. And our entry point at that time was Warrior Week. There was no other game. There was no Warrior Cons. There was no software. There was no read a book. There was like, come to Warrior Con and submit yourself to a 5-day immersion. In the middle of this event, you have a moment with Coach Sam. I want you two to dialogue that moment. Share from your perspective what occurred. Because I would have you consider that we're where we are right now because this man had the courage to do what he did in the middle of arguably one of the most intense experiences that a man can go through at the core of Warrior Week with one of the most ruthless trainers in that frame I've ever been around with Coach Sam. Forrest, what was going on for you?
Well, a little context is I hid the fact that I was even there. I didn't share it on social media because I was worried about what my Christian friends would think and what my pastor would think and what my parents would think. All they'd have to do was quickly Google Garrett and like, what in the world is Forrest doing? So I was there incognito, and I was asking God the whole time, why am I even here? But there was this one moment, if you'll remember, when you're going up the mountain, there were 4 stations. There was the Body Being Balance business stations, and we were in the Bean station, and you guys asked, what's coming up for you? You did a talk about being and where you are and what you're hearing, and it was my turn to speak, and I got up and I said, man, I'm just really, in a profound way, God is just stamping Matthew 6:33 in my heart. Seek ye first his kingdom and his, and Coach, in the way only Coach can, says, get the fuck out of here with your scriptures and go write your own scriptures. And No one's ever talked to me like that in my life. I'm like, go write my own scripture. And I kind of walked away, and I turned around and looked at him, and he looked at me, and he put his arms out. And he said, who do you think created all of this? And I said, I know him, and I was quoting him. He said, go write your own scripture. So I was about ready to walk off that mountain. And he sent me back down. He said, start over. And I said, God, why am I here? I want to leave. He said, Forrest, I have you here for a purpose. And so that conflict led to ultimately Sam and I sitting knee to knee at the end of Warrior Week. And I was the only man in my group who didn't step into Kingdom. And he hotboxed me, and he had the rest of the group come and talk to me. And we were sitting knee to knee, and I said, Coach, I just got to ask, like, where do you stand? Who is Jesus to you? And it opened up this just beautiful conversation between me and Sam. And I said, Sam, the things we've been doing all week, they're beautiful, but they're just symbols. Hiding your deepest lie, burning your deepest lie. These guys over here, they think they're free. You've given them Kool-Aid when they actually need the lifeblood of Jesus Christ. And Sam looked at me and he said, listen, I put you in that group for a reason. Those men are broken. I knew you were strong in your faith. That's why you've been in that group. And I'm open to what you have to say. I tell you what, why don't you just start texting me scripture? So I'll stop and kind of let you tell your side of the story.
So, Coach Sam, this is going down for you. Those who have been through Warrior Week know that Coach Sam submits the frame to no man, including any pedestrian, any grandmother who might be walking up on the Evolution, any state authorities, SWAT teams flying in with helicopters. I had to remind him a few times, bro, you realize that we're just a training company, right? As he walks up on a SWAT team with engaged weapons who had flown in because they thought one of our guys had brandished a gun at a local elementary school. Coach Sam's like, they can go fuck themselves. We're in the middle of fucking saving lives right now. I'm like, well, we're about to lose our life if you don't back the fuck down, bro. Just so you know, these cargo pants aren't real, dude. We're just fucking around. Those guys are definitely not fucking around. Like, do you see them? Do you see where the fingers are going? Stop fucking walking. Just stop fucking walking. We're good. Let me talk. You don't say shit. So he had gotten into that frame. So that's why I say when Forrest is there, he could give a fuck about the SWAT teams. So the fact that you could even infiltrate that conversation in that frame, he didn't give a fuck. He'd lose his life over the mission that he had that God put over him to liberate in the conditions we were in. Now, you have this moment with Forrest. What's opening up for you during that?
It's at Warrior Week, so it's a sacred space. It's not some fucking asshole online that just putting some words out there and that you don't know. Like this is like the thing about Warrior Week is not just a week. There's a 30-day buildup. Colin knows pretty much about it. We were talking about this morning, and there's a lot of there's an emotional buildup to that. So there's like 30 days of caring for the men that are inside, caring about the words that they're saying. For those of you that have been through the process, you know what it means. So it's 30 days of caring for Forrest. And I would be a fucking fool sitting there, not being open to what he's sharing. I remember we were face to face, and I was open. So that was the first stage. Okay, so you gotta understand this. Most motherfuckers are not open. And that's the problem. We got a guy yesterday on chat that got fucking offended the day before. It's like, how is this guy, quoting scripture and bringing the Bible and saying fuck or God damn it? Get used to it, because that's the fucking language that it's spoken here. It's not profanity. It's the language of truth. And if that offends you, like literally take the fucking keyboard sideways, put it up your fucking ass and get the fuck out of here. That's it. With a bleeding fucking asshole.
I think everybody's clear.
Because you're not going to hear it here. But if you do hear it here in ways that moves you, you got to be open. If you have Jewish background, you got to be open. If Muslim for 43 fucking years. Not from any country, from Iran. The greatest enemy of the United States of America. And there's a lot of shit going. Like, this is like, there's another Persian guy in the back. He's completely fucking lost. He doesn't know God because they took away God from him. God was a concept. And God was a concept that would punish. So why would he even fucking believe? He's 31, 32. That's me. I got out at 9. But something kept me there. Remember the story that I told you about finding the keys in the snow, day 1? That was my religion right there. I knew he was there. And then I come in Warrior, and this man right here teaches me how to love. The way he cares for his children, the way he cares for other men. I don't know none of this shit. I come to see him because I wanted certainty in my accent. He said, hey, bro, you know, when I'm in the boardroom and I speak English, like my accent is pretty fucked up. My French Canadian and my Farsi gets mixed up, and my English. He's like, hey, don't change none of that. That's all you. Oh, yeah? That changed everything. Not an ounce of guilt and shame from that day. And the thing that I was sharing this with Nick, one of our trainers in the back. It was Garrett's brother. It was like, hey man, like when is this point where you kick someone in the fucking balls? It's the point where Garrett taught me, it's the point that I learned in the process where you see the potential and the man inside of him is playing the victim or is playing what? Like uncertainty, right? That fucking, like what you saw all day, people that are uncertain when Garrett brings the fire is to bring the fire. And from that fire, they see a possibility. That's what Warrior is. So, man, I was uncertain. Like I wasn't, because God to me was a concept, right? Like, think about this. If God to you is a concept, then you're fucked. Because as humans, we have to have relationship. Like I care for you, I love you because there's a relationship. I care dearly for fucking Garrett. That shit with Sean Wallen, man, I didn't see Sean Wallen for fucking 8 years. You said fuck him, I said fuck him for 8 years. Jeremy was privately texting, keeping the relationship. Everybody was keeping, Satima was keeping the relationship. And I said fuck him. To the point that Sean wanted to fight you and then we said, okay, fuck it. And then you made peace, I didn't make peace. He comes up here, he's standing in silence. I'm like, okay, part of it, I get it. Is he gonna start some fucking shit? I see Trevor going up there. I said, oh yeah, bro time. I go there. It's bro time. I go up there. But obviously it was the greatest lesson that he gave me and that healed that 8 years of, there was no beef for him other than standing for you. But that's the love, right? That's based on a relationship. For many of you, a relationship. To not have that with God is to rob yourself from this concept of being. Don't even say the word God if it's a concept. Because it's impossible for you to have a relationship with the concept. So I was uncertain. And that's why I had to be open. And because I was uncertain, I go, okay, well, I'm going to go figure this shit out. How did I got to Muhammad, right? Because that's where I was born in that region. I was born in there. It wasn't my choice. I was born in that religion. And I was taught that the prophet is Muhammad. So I'm going to go back. So then I call my friend Brian Q. Davis. He says, hey, bro, how do I figure this shit out? How do I go back to the source of this thing? He goes, well, there's one book. We were sitting in the Warrior van. He goes, there's one book. It's the Bible. And you were sending me scripture. And he goes, I'll take you through it. There's this thing called the Bible Project. You go on YouTube, and it kind of explains to you. And we started a journey together and started reading the Bible and learning about it.
So pause right here with this. What are you seeing right now? You, right now. Not then, now, with what you're hearing. What are you seeing? What did you do?
I mean, I just entered into what I saw was uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And the frames that he was even teaching from at Warrior Week, there was so much truth to it, but it lacked the true foundation of Jesus. I've always described Warrior as 75% brilliance built on 25% insanity. I don't say that now. And so when I challenged him, I saw confusion, but I also saw an openness. When we go to foreign countries and on mission trips and minister what's called men of peace. They don't understand yet, but they're open. They're men of peace, and that's what I saw in him. Especially, we concluded the conversation, well, bro, just start sending me scripture. But I also see, Paul said in Ephesians, Apollos planted, I watered, doesn't matter, God gets the glory, that this is not just my story. I mean, he's talking about Brian. He's talking about other men who have poured into his life where we're all doing a work. We don't care who gets the glory or how they come. We just want them to find Jesus. And to even be a small part of that story in his life or in your life, I count as some of the greatest joy in my life.
What do you see is available here that is missing in a lot of the church culture?
WarriorCon 1, didn't know why I was there. I felt compelled to be there. Day 2, I was sitting there with my jaw on my chest because men were confessing sin, they were confessing affairs, and you were having the whole group stand up and say, I see you, you were not alone, you were loved, there was transparency, there was forgiveness. And I said, where is this in the Christian church where we show up buttoned up? How are you, brother? I'm well. I fought with my wife all the way to church, but I'm doing fantastic, brother. Right? There was freedom. And God said, Forrest, the church needs what you're seeing. The church needs this freedom. And then you start speaking and you were resonated with the Spirit inside of me. I still have it in my journal from WarriorCon 1. How is this man speaking to the Spirit inside of me when I see no apparent connection with Christ? I didn't have a box to put it in. I still don't have a box to put in what's happening right now and the way it's delivered, beyond the language and beyond the sexual references and beyond everything. But I do know, Garrett, that there's men in this room and there's men on this screen who would never be here if we were preaching light is only light is only light. Like, we talk about the dark, we talk about the realness, we talk about the things you really say. And you know, I mentioned the message beyond the message. You were saying the things that are in my head that you can't say in Christian circles, because if I really said that, they would see who I was. And I'm like, man, this guy's just talking about what's in my head. And it drew me because it's real and it's authentic.
So let it be heard here. I am not anti-church or pastor at any level. I will fuck with them publicly for one simple reason. Because until they bring this energy into their churches, they will continue to be nothing but boxes of glass and bullshit. I came to terms in a little walk and talk with Father. There were 4 statements I was given. I am ancient. I am an assassin. I am a weapon. I am who I am. I apologize to no one when I'm in that calling. And when I'm not, it's clear I'm not. Which means it's not a permanency. You all have a piece in you in which God is trying to activate a call. But until you have the courage to do what's required with that call, you'll continue to just be another happy-clappy preacher of bullshit. And what we will watch happen is the implosion of humanity as we know it. And we will become slaves. And so until the fire is unified with the strategy, the illusion of work in business, married to the conversation of fire and awakening, it doesn't matter. You'll just burn out and burn to the ground. But when you unify these two, the opposite happens. It goes vertical. I am not against you, but I'll fucking fight you. Physically, fine. Mentally, fine. Spiritually, fine. If it means what? If it means you wake the fuck up, and then you can thank him later for making me a weapon. You can hate me for it, and in the beginning, most men do. Go fuck yourself, Garrett. And Garrett actually is hurt by that. He doesn't like that. But I'm not talking to you as Garrett. I'm the fucking weapon. This guy, I use him. And I'll burn this thing to the fucking ground if you don't wake up. And I'll go find the men who will. You'll either get it or you won't. And you, my friend, you are just like me. And now I see you. And no one else in this place matters to me in this moment. Now I know why Friday was coming. You know I can't make this shit up. And I knew how to do this long before the Freedom Protocol showed up. Now that I got it, it's fucking over. You wait, my friend, I got some things to show you. And then with these men and others, we're gonna do some shit that's going to pivot this fucking game. I get why you are on the front row. Oh, man. You know how long I've been doing this shit? Alone. But I had to do it alone. So I could prove it works. Yeah. Now that I know it works, I have to get these weapons into all your hands. And then you have to wage the war you've been called to wage. I'm not your enemy. I'm just here to train you, and then you've got to go. This is not your home. This is where you come to be trained before you go. And many of you will come for a season, and then I will not see you for a long time. And he will guide you. But there will come a time I will come knocking. And instead of a room of warriors, we'll be sitting in a stadium of kings with kingdoms. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by you. I never built any of this for money. But without money, we cannot pull off what we've been called to do. You must become wealthy. Because today, they don't listen to anyone who isn't. He built this place to launch you. I don't need to be launched. I'm already in the game. He built this place for you to find counsel so that you could keep the courage to keep going. Today I'm going to invite you to participate in that counsel and to be here with us for as long as you need. And for many of you to be launched into the game for the first time. You've not earned the title of king. And today you get to wear a t-shirt so you can feel what it feels like. But you've got to go to war first. And we're here to train you on how to do that. And then you will go and pursue the kingdom. There are men that have come to this room who are here for only one reason. They are part of the team to support you in this. I invited them here from different countries to sit and observe this because I was trying to help them understand what we have here. It's too big for what we currently have. And there's a reason why you three sit together on the front row. I can only imagine sitting at home what this may be like for you. I know if I had entered this place back when I was struggling, I would have not known what to think either. There would have been a lot of confusion in my mind, but in my heart, it would have been on fire, but yet confused about what to do with what I'm feeling. Do you understand me? Part of our game together is for us as brothers to support one another in seeing what that looks like real time for each man. What does his freedom look like? The purpose is not to take a knee. This is simply a stage in the process of becoming free. Freedom is the outcome. And leading freedom to others is the purpose. Everything else is frosting. You got 5 minutes. No music. Go to your devices. What are you personally being told? Type it up. Write it down. You two on stage. Thank you. No claps. Just go. Go sit. See what he's telling you. You can just leave the chairs there. Yeah, just leave them. I might have you guys come back up in a minute. Thank you. Just 5 minutes. Be with yourself. Grab that chair and come sit by me. All right. Gentlemen in the room, go find 3 of the men and move yourself somewhere in my room. If you're online and at home with me, we're going to have you do the same thing. I keep seeing comments coming into the chat that the shares are off the charts. Please, for your own good, not for mine. Keep doing that. You guys are showing up with an intensity. We keep dividing this group, and we keep shedding layers of handfuls of men every day who don't want to play, and that's okay. They may come back. I was a man in the past, was like, go fuck yourself forever. I'm not that way. Not anymore. For those that are here, though, my invitation to you is to do the same you've been doing all morning. We have a lot of work to get done today. A lot of work to get done today. So if you are ready to get into a breakout group and go for the next 8 minutes and talk about this, type in fire into the chat so I know you're ready to go. Give me some fire up in that chat. Either the word fire or some actual fire emojis. You want to throw that shit in there too, it's great. All right, beautiful. You've got 8 minutes virtually. We're going to put 4 or 5 of you per group. Gentlemen, you got 3, 2, 1, and off you go. In person, gentlemen, let's bring my house lights up. Bring my house lights up. Gentlemen, get into groups of 4 people. First person is sharing. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Hug it up and get back. You ready? Well, get your ass up here then. You're standing right here. Well, you can tell me thank you, and I'll give you a hug, and you tell them what's up. How you doing? There you go. Tell them what's going on. Where are you at?
Oh, gosh.
Share, share, share. You look great, by the way. Off you go.
So, we started the morning with the question of what keeps us from leading. And Scott happened to be in my first group. Never met Scott and didn't know, he was a little detached, but he said, what keeps us from leading is where we're not whole. And I just initially kind of struggled with that, but I recognized, right? Like we're afraid to pour into somebody else because we're leaking out the backside. And I think what shores up that leak is, this is all kind of coming this morning, but is the relationship. And until this morning, God was
If you're in my room, no talking. If you're in my room, no talking.
God was a concept. Just a few minutes ago, I asked Kevin the other day on the bus, I was like, I don't know the difference between God and Christ. Like, I wasn't raised in that world. I don't know what Christ is. I don't know how to know him. And he said to me, think about Christ being the face of God. But what just clicked is that means, it doesn't mean I'm Christian. It doesn't mean that I'm religious. But it means that I now have somebody to have a relationship with. And just in this morning, it stopped being a concept and started being a relationship. I have no idea where I go with it. I checked out Bible Project in that last 5 minutes, and I bought Lee Strobel's book about A Case for Christ because somebody mentioned that to me. So I'll figure that out. But while we were having one of the breakouts, I went outside and I sat, 10 minutes. I just took a knee and just had my moment. And
why don't you have your moment again in front of everybody? Not for me. Don't take a knee to me. Have your moment. Just put your microphone down. Just have your moment. Nothing more powerful than a man's public witness of his moment. You be quiet for yourself, and everybody else just be here. I want you to notice something. Steve, you chose to take a knee. Look what's happening in the chat. He takes a knee and everything freezes. For you to have a moment. Warrior had 2 stages. Wake up, have it all. That was it. And Steve, we've had all kinds of individuals here committed to this game of waking up and having it all. But this is the piece that we were missing. We just didn't even know. Oh, we just didn't even know. So we didn't. We just kept standing up and raising our heads up and being kings. The only problem was we kept trying to usurp the king. He just patiently waited for us, figure it out. Wasn't any impatience. That's what's fun for me. There's no sense of you fucked it up. It's just like, hey, our personification of God is quite ridiculous. Our little failed attempt to try to paint it out like we know. It's fun. Up there, really, up there. That's what we're doing, up there. That's what they teach 3-year-olds. So they can try to conceive of this. The love that we're speaking about inside of having it all is creating the conditions for you to experience something that is beyond ability to express in words. The Freedom Protocol and what we stand for here is about experiencing that freedom as a feeling, not as a bunch of words. Kevin, this just takes us at times to get into a place where we're just tired of not rising the way we know we're supposed to and the way we know we can, but we can't rise until we've taken a knee in fire. Wild, all this journey just to get to this place.
I didn't know why I came, but now I came.
Yeah, don't worry. I didn't know why we were putting this fucking event on, so you didn't know why you were coming, and I didn't know why I was putting it on, and now here we all are, slowly figuring it out, day 3. How many of you are seeing this? Raise your hands. Hands down. Beautiful. Go have a seat. So, to my brothers online, Michael and Stephen. Stephen, let's unmute you. Talk to me. Stephen, where are you at on this? What is this? What are you seeing happen for you right now this morning?
Well, so thank you, Garrett. I mean, I wasn't able to be on the first 2 days, so this is my first day on.
Well, welcome to the big pinnacle. Well done. It appears
Dude,
you didn't need any of the buildup. You were like, fuck it, take me right to the good shit.
Well, I guess that's really what it was, man. I'm a worship pastor at a church I helped launch about 4 years ago. I've been a part of Warrior for a lot of years, and it's always been fun to try to figure out how to take what I'm learning in Warrior and then put it into my spiritual life as a Christian. Understanding what I know about the Lord Jesus Christ and what the lack I know, and so to come here today. What happened was all my Warrior Week 55 brothers that have been watching, they've been putting in our WhatsApp about, oh my gosh, they're talking about Jesus Christ. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I missing? And so today, for it to culminate like this has really wrapped up the entire package of Warrior that I thought's been missing for so many years, trying to figure out how to really connect with that spirit, with what I'm learning. And I mean, it's all here. It's all here. You've, because you listened to the true voice and the truth of Jesus Christ. Now this message of Warrior can literally, to see people saved on stage right now, saved to Jesus Christ on stage at a Warrior event, fucking amazing. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Well, don't worry. I'm in the same place with you. I love that you're here, and I love that you're committed to what you're doing. I love that you're committed to taking God's word to people. And my desire has come full circle. In the beginning was just the confusion for me about who was in charge. And I took it all on myself for the first 8 years. I just took it all on me. I guess I'm the one in charge. So I didn't know how to deal with the idea that what we were doing here was building simply a place to launch warriors into kings. That's all this place has become. It's not a place to hang out for life. It's a place to come and launch. And in your case, a place to come launch, gather the tools, allow me to get you to a place where you can be certified with them, be partners with us, and let me give you all the weapons. And go do this, but do this in your church. Take this realness to the church. Take it to the congregations. Take it to the people and to the men who are dying in the sanitized box that they're playing in. Because they won't listen to me. But my job's not, they're not my job. That's not my call. You're my call.
Yeah.
You're my call. I've been called as a weapon to awaken kings. This is my call. But the King of Kings had to get my attention because what was happening is I would wake the kings up. They would go do what their call was, and guess what I would do? Guess what I would do, Stephen? Guess what I would do to these kings that I had done? God called me. I called it the voice to wake the kings up, and I would wake them up. Then I would do something that was a complete fucking opposite of what I was supposed to be doing. What was it? Any idea?
Let them go?
Nope, that would have been nice. When they tried to go, what did I do? Shoot them.
Hold them. Ah.
Attack them. Deploy weapons to destroy them. So you can imagine, I don't know exactly what went down. Went down for me was simply this. One simple request from God this year. Will you stop? We were having a moment. I was in a very special place with him. And he said, will you stop? He said, let go of warrior. Now, of course, I wouldn't let go. So you know what he did next? For the next 2 months, I got to consider the possibility that my mortality would come to a close in July of this year. Like it was as real as anything I'd ever been to. I went to my teams, I went to my financial advisors, I went to my attorneys, and I went to everyone. I said, you need to prepare for me to be done by July. At that case, my wife needs to know where the money is. She needs to be prepared. The game needs to take over. I need teams to be built to be able to take this thing over. I will not make it past July. You read my stacks on this. I'm happy to share them. Day after day after day, sitting, weeping in my office, in my home, of more mortality coming to an end, yet in that place, every day rising and still choosing the call. That's why when men get stumbled up over small commitments, I can't fucking understand it. I don't understand it. You let money get in the way. You let people get in the way. You let your opinions get in the way. You let other people's opinions get in the way. You can't even do simple fucking shit you're being asked to do, and yet you call yourself a king. Go fuck yourself. Easy to put a t-shirt on. Easy to put a t-shirt on. Difficult to become it. So there's this balancing act between trying to find this submission, but also understanding God does not need you to be a weak, sedated, submitted man. The purpose of taking a knee is to access the full fire of your capabilities. And then from that place to rise as a king. Take a knee to the power. Connect to the power. Allow the power to gut you, to purify you. Call it atonement. Call it cleansing. Call it forgiveness. I don't give a fuck what you call it. Your words are still inadequate to describe what I'm talking about. A fire, a baptism of fire from the inside out, a purification in the night, a place where you gain sight. And in that place with sight, you rise to fight, not continue to sit in the submitted position all day and all night. Oh, I have done it all. I have done it all. No, you haven't. You started. You dipped into the fire. Now you must rise and fight. Dip into the fire and take a knee. Have your moment of humanity. And in that place, allow him to set you free. But that does not mean you are now soft and fucking weak. This is where the message got lost. You have been taught and trained as men to take a knee and be weak. He is weaponizing you to rise. And the challenge is that we sit in a marketplace with men weaponized with darkness who choose to rise after taking a knee to this darkness while we are being trained to take a knee and go to fucking sleep. You keep looking for someone else to change the game. Salvation is not what we are playing. We are weapons of liberation, and if you don't fucking choose it, get the fuck out of the way. Bring me water, and I'll fight. Run my operations, and I'll fucking fight. See, once I rose from that submission, for the very first time, I could see what I was being called to do. And in that place, he created a dynamic pressure so that I could help you see how to do it too. Because although I'm willing to run to the front lines and be massacred, I'll fuck people up along the way. I can't do it and won't pull it off without you. Stephen, what are you hearing me say right now?
Dude, the fire you're bringing compared to, like, you know, I was at WarriorCon 3, and like I said, I went to Warrior Week 55. Like, the fire was real then, but like this is a whole nother, this fire's on a whole nother level.
Do you know why?
Like,
Do you know why? Why is it on another level?
It's the truth, because you have the truth backing it.
No, who's involved now?
Well, Jesus, the truth, the light. So, no, it's a whole nother level, dude. It's and I can't get enough, man. You're speaking directly to the heart.
Stop talking. Just be here with it. Why is the power different now? Tell me again.
Jesus.
That's it. I have no power without his power. All of my power is hype and motivation. Stupid fucking memes. Stupid business strategy. Where we're going, none of that will work. All the tactics and the strategies are all there. There's no more new shit to learn when it comes to that. But this fire, without it, Stephen, how good are we actually able to be without it? Zero. That's why you can get up and give the greatest sermon of all time and not have one person in that room give a fuck about what you just said. I've been real good at that. Very motivating, which is a skill, and it's a weapon if loaded with pure fire. Michael, Stephen, thank you for sharing. Michael, what do you got for us? Share with me.
2.5 years ago is when I got into Warrior. And I got to be honest, if you would have used the word God and not the voice, I don't think I would be here. I told the men in the groups that we've been in, I've been a medic for almost 30 years. And about 7 years ago, I had a traumatic call that involved a 5-year-old child that was run over by a SUV. My kid was 5 years old at that time. And I think that's why it was so traumatic for me. There was a lot of snow on the ground. It took us forever to get to the hospital. We had to cancel aviation because she was a cardiac arrest. We had to go to the closest facility. Knowing this, taking her to the closest facility, she's not going to survive. There's no way. There's no way they can handle this type of injury. We go through a stress debriefing. And the comment that was made, well, this was God's plan. I fucking lost it. I cannot buy into that fucking crap whatsoever. This is not God's plan. You can't tell me that this is God's plan to take a 5-year-old fucking girl away from her family. I just can't buy into it. Completely lost my faith at that point. Losing my faith, unfortunately, brought me into 2 affairs. And I'm trying to fix that now. The thing that came to me today was actually, it was
Pause real quick.
said just
Pause real quick. Thank you. 1, for being here. 2, for being honest. How many of you, show of hands at the camera and or in the room, can feel the intensity of God around this truth, although dark, that he is sharing? Raise your hand. Hands down. I need you to understand this. This happy, clappy shit has to stop. It's not helping anyone. It's sedating them, this happy, clappy shit. It's having them ignore the truth of the keys to the kingdom. And like all, including me, for years, attempting to do what I thought was right, turned out to be the thing that was causing the greatest problems in the fight. Truth is purity. The facts are pure. You may not like them. You may not like what they are. But that is what they are, is truth. God sits in the darkness of the facts. When you speak truth into that darkness, and you say, let there be light, which is you surrendering and submitting to that truth, in that place there is a spark that occurs and creation begins. And the game opens. If you watch what God did in the book of Genesis, he then began to divide everything, creating a container or a frame for creation. This is exactly what you just did. You spoke into darkness and said, let there be light, by speaking about painful fucking truths that my heart breaks and goes out to you for. And now from that place, you have something else to share. What else is it?
I grew up, I should say I grew up, I converted to Catholicism for my wife, taught Catholicism for 11 years. Went through this process. And what this has brought me is a connection that is more real than I've ever experienced in my life. And I've been playing around with this warrior thing for 2.5 years, not fucking realizing that it's about your connection. It's about the connection. And the first time today was the first time I sat for 20 minutes in fucking silence and meditation. It was the best meditative thing I ever done in my life. So today he says, just be here and be honest with yourself.
Verse 2, darkness. Verse 3, speak truth, light. And in the truth there is light. And that truth sparks the potential inside of the night. And now we begin to divide where I am to where I desire to go, where I am to where God is calling me to go. Then you watch and he flips the frame again. He divides heaven from earth, then he divides earth from water. He divides and creates a container for creation. Darkness, speaking light into the night, activating potential, division, and creation of a frame. Inside of this frame, creation began. Without this container, the end result of day 6 is not possible. Many of you continue to skip verse 2. Verse 3, you continue to skip all the way through and you simply want day 6. And some of you fuckers just want to go straight to day 7. Just want to fucking rest. Motherfucker, what you got to rest about? You ain't done shit already. I'm already fucking tired from resting the last 12 years. I'm so fucking tired of resting. I'm tired from the rest. I need a rest from my rest. Exactly the fucking problem. That's why you're here. And so then you go in and you stand up. Listen, anyone can stand up, put their hands up in there and sing worship songs for 35 minutes and feel inspired. I always notice it's awesome because they do that and then they make an offer right after. It's great marketing. Not against it. You get anyone to stand up and raise their hands and sing for 30 minutes, they're going to be warmed up to whatever you say next. If it happens to be a building fund, cool. I have no problem with it. The challenge is, it's not fixing anything. Your new megachurch isn't changing anything. So sorry when I'm not passionate about funding your next fucking building project. Because you're not actually changing anything. The challenge is most people being called into this are being called in, but they're not weaponizing themselves and becoming kings to wage war. So they come in and they find themselves in this cool place with childcare. They're like, and what next? What are you doing on Monday, bro? I'm going to Bible study. What are you doing on Tuesday? I'm going to Bible study. What are you doing on Wednesday? I'm going to go to Bible study. I appreciate that you're going. No, I'm asking you, what are you going to do? What are you going to build? What are you going to create? What are you doing? Don't sit and talk to me about how you're committed to the king when you walk around in this imprisoned body that you've created. Oh, I'm submitted to the king. Are you? Have you looked at yourself in the mirror recently? Naked, right out of the shower. That shows me where your commitment is. Your fucking body speaks louder than any of your words, so go fuck yourself. You get that shit under control and life will change. Oh, I'm submitted to the king. Yeah, are you? How can you not pay your fucking bills again? Go fuck yourself. Well, I don't know what to do. Then get better. Learn. Grow. Gain skills. Gain mindsets. Do a little more work and a little less worship. And you might find that your work is worship. The bridge doesn't build itself because you saw it in a vision. Visions aren't the problem. Finding men who actually are free. Free men. This is what we're looking for. Free men, Christian, who have no need. Who are connected to the king, who have no need. Because when you put free men into a circle and have free men have a conversation, free men are past the crown of king. These are men who have kingdoms, who have no need. And when they come to the table, they come with one purpose. A unified body of free men taking a knee and going to him with request of what do you want us to do now? The challenge is, we got a society of broken men who are the furthest thing from free, who are the furthest thing from kings, who can barely keep their fucking marriages together and can barely lead their children, let alone themselves. And then we sit and talk about how Jesus is going to do it all. What if getting it done is coming through you and me? But here was a scary proposition. One night I was sitting there, and a thought came to me. And I sat with this thought for days. And had this feeling from God that was like this weird kind of flip of the frame for me. He said, oh, my son, you think I need you. I don't need you. I win no matter what. This is all mine. But who you become in the process and what you uncover about yourself along the way, if you'll join me, well, that doesn't just stay here. That comes with you forever. So this is not about whether I have things under control. This is what you choose to experience for you. This shattered my brain. And then I realized, Michael, if I don't choose to call, he'll just replace me. You don't choose to call, he'll just replace you. This is why you vomited. Just getting the last pieces out so you could be ready to do what we're actually here to do. I'm ready. That's why I've had less excitement about the other things you're excited about. Because that shit's easy. But the stuff we're called to do, that's all in. There's no coming back from it. One statement came to me in the middle of one of these moments you and I both share. It's very simple. Once you say what must be said, it cannot be unsaid. And once you say what must be said that cannot be unsaid, you have initiated a declaration of war. We are not there yet. But when that drum sounds, there's no going back. And you have to be ready. No one's here to tell you how to do it. You're here to tell us how to do it. So people say, why does your marketing work? I said, because I'm just a weapon for the marketer. How do you get away with saying what you say? Because I've submitted to the marketer. How do we write these declarations, Rich, you've seen? We submit to the marketer, and he writes them through you. And me, I'll just hold it up on a fucking pole and broadcast it to the world, because that's what I do. We are the men of warrior, not me. We are the council. We must be unified. And what I know is that if we don't put something together, you will all scatter, and you will all go do the thing you do, and it will be good. But most of you will return to continuing to run in a very small group, isolated, exhausting yourself, burning yourself out. It didn't bring you back to help us in the ways you think. Brought you back to stand with us so you don't get so far down the path you forget what you're here to do. So we're going to have another conversation. And you're going to talk about this with three other men around the following topic. What's the price that you pay to run alone? How many of you know what it feels like to be a rogue, Ronin, and run alone? Raise your hand. How many of you in the chat type in hell yes if you know what it feels like to run alone? Today I'm inviting you to stop that shit. But now we're going to talk about it. Why? Why does that matter? So what? Run alone. I'm connected to him. Why does it matter? I'll just go do it myself. I'll do it all myself. Why do I need anyone else? That's what you're going to talk about. What's the cost of you continuing to dance this game alone? Even when you pretend that you're connected, most of what you're doing is still very isolated and alone, because I know I have men who invest incredible amounts of money, $500,000 a year, and they still manage to fucking hide for 6 months. So just because you came to WarriorCon does not mean that you are running with a pack now. Your capabilities to fucking hide are elite. How many of you fucking know they're elite? Type in fuck in the chat if you know. If you're in my room and you know you're elite, when I elite at hiding and I say move, you'll say fuck. Move! Scott, did you say fuck? Scott? Are you elite at hiding? Are you elite at hiding? Stealth. Then I need a fuck from you. You ready? You better say it or I'm going to bring you up on stage. This is all part of our forging relationship. Are you ready? We'll say the whole group together and you can say it with the unit. Otherwise, you're up on the stage with the microphone. The man who offered the prayer will yell fuck from the top of his lungs in front of the world and it will be documented, or you can do it in the safety of your brotherhood. Are you ready? I'm watching you. I got eyes on you. I'm watching. If this doesn't come with fire, Mike's not even going to come up and save you. Are you ready? Move! Thank you. Woo. Do you know we had, boom! Do you know we had an event one time and Coach Sam's like, Coach, this guy will not say fuck. And I was like, well, what's his deal? He's like, he's a pastor or something. I was like, well, just tell him to yell fuck. He's like, he won't do it. I said, if he doesn't say fuck, kick him out. I was like, why? Because if that word alone is enough to hold you back, you should just go somewhere else, because we have no chance of helping you speak light into the night if the minute the word fuck comes up, you curl up like a little 6-year-old girl. Oh my God, it's fuck. Because all of you have been called to reach the unreachable, and they don't hear your little happy clappy fucking talk. They don't listen to it. You are going on deaf ears. You want to speak truth, speak unto them in their language. That's why you motherfuckers are in the room. If I called you, hey brothers, welcome to a conference, we're gonna have a great experience, we're gonna talk about Jesus. It's gonna be great. This meeting's gonna be in Birmingham, Alabama. We're gonna talk about Jesus. No, this is fucking Warrior. Welcome to Vegas, motherfuckers. We did it here on purpose. There's men fucking prostitutes right now all around us. This is reality. We come tonight to speak light. So you get to have a conversation with your brothers about light inside the night in the middle of Vegas, not in the middle of the Bible Belt of the United States of America. We don't need any more people preaching that shit. We need you bringing truth, not righteousness. We need you bringing truth, not rightness. We need you bringing truth. The truth will be the sword. Everything else is bullshit. If you're clear about where we're going in the chat, type in clear in the chat so I know you're clear. Type in clear. If you're clear inside my room, we're going to do it one more time because Scott did such a great job. When I say move, you'll say fuck. Move! Attaboy. On your feet, let's go. Find 3 other brothers. Partnered up, online. We're going to go 10 minutes on this share. 10 minutes on this share, 10 minutes in the group. Online group, here we go. My home brothers. 3, 2, 1, and off you go.